My God, I hate drugs.
Welcome back. 5 years since the illegal use of funds for lawmakers' pet projects was exposed, the anti-graft court will finally hand down tomorrow its first judgment on a high-profile case linked to the alleged multi-billion peso pork barrel scam. Actor and former Senator Bong Revilla, together with businesswoman Janet Napoles and 3 others, will face the Sandigan Bayan verdict on their plunder cases. Carolyn Bonkin takes us through what happened so far in Revilla'S cases.
A year after the pork barrel scam was exposed, Bong Revilla, together with Jinggoy Estrada and Juan Ponce Enrile, were the first senators charged with plunder and graft over the pork barrel scam in 2014. Revilla allegedly had 224 million pesos in kickbacks after endorsing projects to 5 bogus non-government organizations run by businesswoman Janet Lim Napoles. Because the amount involved in their cases reached the 50 million peso threshold for plunder, they were not allowed to post bail. But Enrile was temporarily free due to his health, and Estrada because the evidence so far supposedly doesn't point to him as the main plunderer. That left Revilla alone in detention. The Sandigan Bayan denied his petition for bail. He then asked the Supreme Court to reverse the Sandigan Bayan's decision, but he later withdrew his petition.
It may take longer for the Supreme Court to resolve that particular issue. In the meantime, the senator was detained and has been detained for so long. It's better for the senator to go through the rigors of trial than wait for the resolution of the petition questioning the denial of the bail.
Although he was charged in 2014, Revilla'S plunder trial only began last year because of his several pending motions. Even the trial was postponed several times because of various pleadings seeking to move back the trial. Revilla, who personally testified in his case, said he never received money from Napoles and only met her in parties. Star witness Ben Herluy, Napoles' cousin who exposed the scheme, also testified along with 2 of Napoles' former staff. On Friday, the Sandigan Bayan will finally hand down its judgment, stating whether or not Revilla is innocent or guilty of plunder.
What we are hoping is that the prosecution's evidence was not able to show or meet the standard of proof beyond reasonable doubt. We cannot really say that at this point that the prosecution has discharged its burden or that it has not, or in our case that there is really no evidence.
Revilla'S family prays the court will rule in his favor. Former Justice Undersecretary Jose Justiniano, who led the DOJ-NBI's investigation, says the judgment will not affect the other pork barrel scam cases.
Dapat walang effect yan sa ibang kaso. Unang-una, magkakaibang division naman na nag-handle niyan. At saka, may mga pagkakaiba din ng mga ebidensya.
But if convicted, he said, this will definitely be a warning to other corrupt government officials. Aside from his plunder case, Revilla also has pending graft cases in relation to the pork barrel scam. Carolyn Bonkin, CNN Philippines.
Former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, who filed the pork scam cases, says in a text message, quote, "Given the evidence the office gathered, if I were a judge, I would convict him, period," unquote. In sports, the party is on for the blue and white after they claim their 10th UAAP men's basketball title. The Ateneo publication The Guidon reports University President Father Jet Villarin announced they will hold a bonfire December 14th. Aside from the men's basketball crown, Ateneo also bagged titles in women's fencing and swimming. UP's graduating Maroons bid farewell on social media. The team ends the season in 2nd place behind Ateneo. Diego Dario says, quote, "Never thought that I would be ending my UAAP career in the finals. It was an honor playing and fighting for this incredible school. Amazing ride, UP community. Wouldn't trade it for anything. UP, maraming salamat." Jarrell Lim keeps it short and sweet. He says it has been a privilege and an honor to represent the University of the Philippines. UP fight forever. Maraming salamat, UP. As for Jello Vito, he says, I will never be able to put into words how it feels to represent UP. The 5-year ride has been an honor and a humbling experience. I wouldn't have spent it any other way. Tito Vito out. And finally, a message from the captain, Paul Desiderio. His lengthy post reads in part, quote, my biggest trophy was not the championship, it was seeing this community as one. It is not 16 strong anymore, it is the whole community strong. Desiderio also confirming after the game he is joining this year's PBA draft. Later we put former collegiate athletes on the record behind all the cheers and the hoops action. We look closer at how champions are made in collegiate basketball. We speak to former UAAP men's basketball champions later at 7 p.m. This is Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. Who are the most talked about personalities on Twitter? Philippines this year, a comedian leads the pack.
This program is brought to you by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation.
Malacanang downplaying President Rodrigo Duterte's latest criticism of the Catholic Church and shrugging off the possibility that his words could incite violence against church leaders. His spokesman says the president was only making an exaggerated statement that should not be taken seriously. R.A.C. Nichols has more.
A joke which many believe is inappropriate, especially coming from the country's top leader.
Pero itong mga obispo ninyo, patay ninyo, walang silbi yung mga yan. What they do is criticize.
The president's spokesman defends this, saying it's just how the president speaks, something which Malacanang is hoping the public is used to by now.
It's only a hyperbole on the part of the president. We should be getting used to this president. He makes certain statements for dramatic effect. But he actually means stop criticizing and do some good for this country.
Malacanang is optimistic the president's pronouncement won't lead to violence against priests.
No, I do not think so. Majority of the Filipinos have, I think, been used to this president. They're used to hearing those things but not believing in them because they know that he doesn't mean that.
In his speeches on Wednesday, President Duterte lashed out at priests again and even said 90% of them are homosexuals. Clearly, his promise to lie low on such tirades has been broken. Months ago, he formed a team to dialogue with the Catholic Church and other religious groups to help explain where the president is coming from, and in the process, mend the apparent rift between him and religious leaders. Panelos says he's unaware of any latest development on such efforts. As far as he's concerned, the president is just back at it. Instead of criticizing his words, Malacanang says the church should just try to dispute what the president says about them. Just like how the president defends himself when the church accuses him of endorsing extrajudicial killings.
In the same manner that the church criticizes this president, he responds to the same criticism. And so when the president says, your institution is hypocritical, then you tell us why. Because the president has basis.
Panelos says the president just gets upset when he sees institutions like the church lack appreciation for what he's done for the country. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines says it would rather not comment on the president's latest pronouncements because doing so may just make matters worse.
If I want to joke, I will joke. Joke-jokein mo, ngayon kung maniwala kayo, kayo.
AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
While the CBCP refuses comment, a Catholic lay group expresses concerns about the president's latest remarks against bishops and priests. The Sangguniang Laiko ng Pilipinas appeals to President Duterte to stop tarnishing the dignity of the church. The group is also willing to go all out to protect their bishops and priests.
Siguro itaya namin ang buhay namin para sa aming mga obispo, para sa aming pananampalataya. We will do that because we know that that is wrong, that is not right.
Meanwhile, a sociologist says the president's remarks, whether said in jest or not, should be dealt with carefully. He also believes it is about time the Catholic Church speaks up, admits its mistakes, and faces challenges head-on.
The Catholic Church is a human institution, and therefore it is governed by people who are also prone to make mistakes. Sexual abuses, financial corruption, even graft, even politicking, and so forth. What this also means is that it's an opportunity for church leaders not to defend itself by appealing, say, to the holiness of the Catholic Church, but to admit, by simply admitting that these are all possible and that the church is doing something to address these matters.
Some netizens supporting President Duterte's stand on the Catholic Church on Facebook, Eric Ranyola, says church leaders should respect the separation of church and state. He says the church should focus on its faithful spiritual well-being and nothing else. Netizen Bon Festejo agrees with the president's comments that, quote, all church leaders do is criticize, when in fact Festejo says the government is doing good. But Mr. Duterte's kill bishops remark also irked some netizens. Albert Tumaneng says, quote, I really cannot imagine any sane person supporting or defending his statement. Camille Navarro meanwhile asks, kapag nang criticize, dapat patayin? President Duterte takes a swipe at Catholic priests again. Our senior correspondent Ina Andulong joins us live from Pasay City, where Mr. Duterte earlier spoke. Ina, what did the president say?
Pia, his tirades against priests and the Catholic Church continue. President Duterte even leveled up on this, Pia, by challenging bishops to quarrel in public. He said, and I quote, "Hinahamon ko kayo, let us quarrel openly." Now, it's really unclear why President Duterte has returned to attacking the church again. We've seen him do this in the past, when he even promised to lessen on the harsh words. We've yet to know if there's any specific pronouncement, statement from the Catholic Church or actions by priests that his tirades, but he has been going back to the fact that priests have been criticizing him for the killings, drug war, even during, he says, during the campaign. Now tonight at the 85th founding anniversary celebration of the Department of Labor and Employment, he accused priests of having families, using second-class collection to support these families, and even criticized the Bible by questioning why a document written by thousands or written by people who we hardly know at the time, or written about thousands of years ago. Now, President Duterte showed up here, Pia, with a cotton on his arm. He said he has just gotten a blood test earlier today. His spokesman, Secretary Sal Panelo, says it's nothing to worry about and that it's just part of a routinary medical checkup for the president. Pia?
Ina Andulong there reporting live. Guilty or innocent,